All right, a W. Texans get a win against the Dallas Cowboys. 34-10 is the score. I'm sure there's a lot of complaining still being done. It is the Locker Room post-game show. I'm Landry Locker. You can see me here nightly at 10:30. You can also see me on the SNL simulcast with Cody Stoots. Be sure to type in Landry Locker and Cody Stoots anywhere you get your podcasts, and you'll be able to pick that up. As well. We'll hear from DeMeco. We'll hear from CJ. Let's just swarm immediately to the super chats.
You ain't never
Swarm.
Ryan Reyna says the only player holding us back now is CJ Stroud. He's got to stop throwing the rock at their feet. Yeah, CJ wasn't sharp today. And I thought it was pretty telling that at the end of the game, when it was in hand, the Texans offense was still functioning as if they were trying to score. And they ended up ending the offensive drought. So they score a touchdown for the first time on offense since week 6 against the Patriots. And they did so late in the game. But yeah, CJ's not playing great. The fourth down play call from Bobby Slowick, I actually thought was a good one, where Stroud missed Nico Collins, and there was a couple times that he was just missing guys. But the offensive line is not good either, and I think that's a real problem. And I think it's in his head. But maybe this gets him going. But I do agree, CJ Stroud has to be better if the Texans want to get where they've never been, which is the conference championship game. James says Texans won the Governor's Cup, LOL. I heard about this too, and I did not know that this existed. I was actually on in Dallas on the Dumb Zone, and I watched the game with them on their simulcast. I had no damn idea that the Governor's Cup existed. I still haven't seen a picture of it. I still haven't seen what it looks like. But yeah, the Texans do win the Governor's Cup, not to be confused with the Silver Boot when the Astros take on the Rangers. Maxwell77 says game takeaways, 1 O-line better, but still bad. I think they're terrible. I think Titus Howard was actually getting away with holding early on of Micah Parsons. They just didn't really call it. CJ Stroud, happy feet, overthinking easy throws. I think he admitted that last week. And the offense is what it is, permanently inconsistent. Yeah, it's not a well-oiled machine by any stretch of the imagination. I thought that Bobby actually called a pretty decent game today, outside of a few play calls, which you can probably nitpick here or there. But I thought that Bobby Slowick was good. But did you notice Bobby Slowick? I've always given him a hard time about Bobby Slowick did not have his hat on today. Maybe that was maybe there was something to do with that. Bobby Slowick did not have his ball cap on today. This was the first time in the history of Bobby Slowick play calling we did not see that. Juice Scruggs is not good. I actually called him Juice Suafilo during the game. It's time to really have a discussion about Juice Scruggs. And I actually think they're kind of in trouble potentially these next couple of weeks, because I think these D lines that they play the next 2 weeks, we can say what we want about the Titans and the Jags. They're better than this Cowboys. This Cowboys D line is really soft. You heard Jason Kelsey talking about, if you watched Monday Night Countdown, talk about how bad and how soft this Cowboys front seven is. Really the front four. It's going to get a little bit tougher in the next couple of weeks, but I don't think this was not a pretty game. Like if you were looking for the Texans to look like just a completely well-oiled machine, it wasn't pretty. As a matter of fact, it was kind of a ball game before the end. It almost felt like, but they're not. It's not so bad. Like, as much as we've talked about and as bad as this 2-game losing streak has been, it's not bad enough to where they can lose to teams like the Dallas Cowboys. And you would think probably the Titans and Jags, depending on what happens there. But it's not that bad. So that's the good news. You're the best in the AFC South. You hold serve. The Colts got the Lions this week. You got the Titans. You're already an 8-point favorite. By the way, that parlay, I hit everything in that parlay to win $750, except CJ needed to throw 2 touchdown passes. I got the Schultz over yards. I got the Lamb over yards. I got the over points. I needed 2 touchdown passes from CJ Stroud. He didn't throw one. I'll be damned. You win some, you lose some. But if you beat the Titans and you improve to 8-4, and we can assume that the Lions are going to defeat the Colts, you're 3 games up with 6 games left with the tiebreaker over the Indianapolis Colts. Spoiler alert, they're not going to catch you. So you can really wrap things up relatively quickly. And then if you beat the Jags the next week, then it's no worse than 3, and you figure that out. They actually got the Patriots. Some people say, well, who gives a damn about the AFC South? Well, that we want bigger goals. I'm not sitting here saying to pop champagne if you win the AFC South. All I'm saying is you will have the luxury of getting guys healthy. The division will be clinched. You'll be hosting a playoff game. If you get your defense healthy, I think there's a little bit of hope. And then maybe you get CJ Stroud going with the offense, and you have a chance to pull off a couple of playoff wins. You're not battling it out for a division. In other words, if Nico Collins, let's say he's feeling something in his ankle the week they face the Baltimore Ravens on Christmas Day on a short week, rest. And I think that's really important because that type of game and that quick of a turnaround where you're going from Saturday to Wednesday, I would just rest. I know it's Christmas Day. I know Netflix, they got Beyonce performing at halftime and all that crap, but just rest, especially if you got the division wrapped up. Get healthy, ice up. Why not? You got the luxury, take advantage of it. Mushroom Swarm in the super chat. You ain't never hate. Swarm. Texans need defense to score points to win games. Any other team and we lose. They say they do the same operation. Well, it's time for a change. I think you're talking about Bobby Slowick talking about doing the same thing. I do agree that they were fortunate to be playing a really bad Cowboys team. I don't know about any other team and they lose though. I think that's a little bit dramatic. I think this is not a bad team, the Texans. So I don't know about any other team and they lose. I might be taking you too literal there. I don't agree with that. Our defense has as many second half touchdowns as our offense across 5 games. That's a sad statistic. It's not great. Don't disagree with you. It's not great. MH, We Eat Nation. It feels good seeing the Texans fans taking over Jerry World. Yeah, the fans showed out today. I would say it was probably 60-40. Hell, there's games at NRG where they don't have as much of a presence with the fans as they did today. So yeah, I agree with that. It was a good thing to see for sure. Jeffrey Huff, appreciate you. So are we supposed to give? I'm supposed to read this. Bobby broke Dick a pass on the offensive performance against the Cowboys' horrible D and the second half. I don't know what a pass is. I will say I think he called a better game than the results were. Let's just look at a couple of plays because it's easy, whenever it seems kind of sluggish, to just blame Bobby Slowick. But I'll look at a couple of specific. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans as well. But CJ Stroud on the when they went for it on 4th down, which I thought was the right call. I said in the moment, he overshoots Nico Collins, who runs a perfect route, probably would have been a touchdown. That's a touchdown play call by Bobby Slowick right there. CJ Stroud makes the mistake. Later on, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon runs a slant. Bobby motions him. Bobby puts him out to the side. He runs a slant. It's perfect. It goes off his hands. He scores a touchdown there. If CJ puts it in his hands, doesn't happen. Is that Bobby Slowick's fault? The answer is no. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Bobby Slowick, you should feel great about everything. I think there's still, it's not even logical skepticism. There should be skepticism about this offense. I don't think you ignore in victory what you wouldn't ignore in defeat. And I do agree that they were lucky to play a dog-butted Cowboys team. But as far as Bobby Slowick goes, I actually thought he called a decent game and called a better game than the numbers show. Does that mean that I think that Bobby Slowick is on the right track? No, but I do think we got to look at the actual way in which it happened instead of just putting it on Bobby. Although it is fun to put it on Bobby. It does seem like a very fun, an activity that many people in here seem to enjoy.
Damn it, Bobby.
Hey, it's been valid. T says Sting is top 5, locked up every good wide receiver. Man, he could have had 4 interceptions today too. That's the crazy thing. I think DeMeco said he has the best hands on the team. Stingley could have 7 interceptions this year. He's going stride for stride. He's a complete corner. He's tackling. He's doing his thing. He's definitely going to get paid after this offseason. He's going to be one of the higher paid corners in the league. But man, he could have had it. He could have had a few more interceptions today. There were a lot of interceptions dropped in this game by Texans players. Space City Ballers, defense always bails us out. CJ missing open throws. Yeah, defense is great. I mean, defense is great. It doesn't matter who's hurt. Doesn't matter what's going down. The defense is great. And this defense is going to be excellent whenever the season actually stops. We'll hear from CJ Stroud in a second. Let's go and hear from DeMeco Ryans. Before we do that, though, Sam, my guy. You ain't never hate. Swarm. I'll say it again. If you don't fire Slowick when you have a winning record and lead in the division, you make changes in the offseason. Yeah, this offensive line needs to be fixed in the offseason. This offensive line is not good. Titus Howard was getting away with holding like crazy against Micah Parsons early on. He's actually pretty lucky. Tunsil had the penalty that took away just the magical start to the game. Perfect start. First play of the game, Nico Collins, 70 whatever yard touchdown it would have been. Laramie Tunsil, ineligible guy downfield, boom, taken away. Now they end up scoring relatively easily. Joe Mixon scores one touchdown, scores the second, just complete disrespect, telling dudes they're too small, ends up with 3 touchdowns. But Laramie Tunsil, another costly penalty. The offensive line, it's not good. It's the goal is for the offensive line not to suck. It's not, will they play really well? I know DeMeco grades them on a curve. I'm sure we'll hear DeMeco talk about how good the offensive line was. The goal is the offensive line not to completely suck. That's my expectations. If those expectations are unfair, whatever. That's my adjusted grading system for this offensive line. Incomplete 10-yard pass on 3rd and inches. Yeah, that was interesting that they decided to throw on 3rd and 1 and then not go for it. My dad was actually upset about that when he kind of texted me and said, what the hell is going on? Chat saying CJ is a fraud is wild AF. Look, he's going through. He's not playing at the elite level that he wants to play at and that many people want him to play at. I don't know that he's a fraud. I think he's still a pretty good player, and I think he can still be able to flip the switch once things kind of pick up. So I don't look at CJ Stroud as a fraud at all. Jerry Jones is seething, someone says. Yeah, his post-game press conferences are always interesting, or like media sessions where everybody just kind of gathers around him. My favorite thing, though, is luckily no one was hurt. They try to open the roof, and then the sheet metal falls down, which is just insane. That those jokes kind of write themselves. Let's hear from DeMeco Ryans. We'll get back to the chat as well. Texans win 34-10. They beat the Cowboys. They end the touchdown drought in the second half, and they did everything in their power to end that. Let's hear from DeMeco.
On this stage, man, we're blessed to get to do what we do, and our guys, we're very thankful for this moment, thankful for this opportunity to play on Monday Night Football. It's a big deal for us. A lot of young guys who haven't played here before, so I'm really proud of the way our guys competed and finished today.
Mixon, 3 touchdown runs, and it's the first offensive touchdown since Damian Pierce had one against the Patriots. Your thoughts on the way he took control?
The run game starts with our offensive line. I asked them to challenge them to play fast, play aggressive. Thought they did a really nice job. And Joe, when he's on, he's a force for us. Over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just really like the way we just kept turning it in the run game, and proud of the guys for stepping up to the challenge.
Can you talk about the defense, just the takeaways and just the pressure you guys had all night?
The defense played with the elite energy, and we executed really well. All for like one big play that we gave up. I'd like to have that one back, but overall, I think our guys played really well to attack the football the way we attacked the football. D-line really picked up the pressure in the second half. Derek Barnett, the play he made, really changed the game for us, right? It flipped the momentum. It got everybody juiced up on the sideline. It was just a huge play. Him get the strip sack, and for Petrie to come up and force the ball out. Like, when something we talk about and we harp on is attacking the football, and we talked about this week, not just attacking it, going to score. So that was a huge play for us defensively. I thought the D-line really played well in the second half, and Stingley did a really great job in coverage all game. for him to get the pick, that was big time for us as well.
DeMeco getting DeMeco back and the impact, not end zone, but just the impact he had back on this offense. What did you see?
Everyone instantly sees the impact of Nico. Our first offensive play goes for a touchdown. All right, gets called back, but you see his impact instantly. Like, he's a game changer, and we're so thankful and happy to have him back and see what he provides to our entire team.
The second half struggles are no secret. We talk about it every week. To get that touchdown in the second half with Joe, did it mean a little bit more? What did that mean for you guys just to get over that?
For the second half, it meant it wasn't just our offense. I think a lot of the stories being about our offense is, I look at it defensively like we haven't finished in the second half, right? And for our team to go out and really play a complete second half, right, to shut them out in the second half, that was more a bigger deal to me than us scoring a touchdown, right? It's just about us coming out playing with the right energy, executing and finishing the proper way. That's what finish looked like, right? And if we want to continue to progress, move forward, play good football, we have to finish second halves. It always comes down to how you finish in the second half. And, this is how it looks. Like, I'm excited for where we're going.
Coach, how good was it to just go back in that locker room with that winning feeling, especially after what happened last week against the Lions, just walking there with that energy from this victory?
And it's an awesome feeling, right? It's hard to win in this league. No matter who you're playing, it's hard to win, right? And, it was a great feeling coming in, knowing we had it out there, and just seeing our guys, seeing a different bounce in their step, seeing a different look in their eye all week. Like, I just want our guys to remain focused, remain locked in on the task at hand each and every week. And if we do that, we're a really good football team, right? And that's something we knew last week. We're a good football team. We can play with anybody. It's just about finishing.
Not for you to get a letter from the league, but that first play with DeMeco and he called Laramie downfield, that to me was sort of like there's a gray area. That's about a yard difference. Laramie like he was in that gray area. Can you comment on that, or not? You rather not?
I'll let you call it in for me. All right. Yeah, you take the fun.
To come out, have a score, have a callback, and to stick with it and still be able to score. How important was that to still get the end zone?
Well, I really love that first play because it showed what we could do in this game. So even though it got called back, I just told all our guys, hey, we can go score on these guys again. Just get it in your mind, we're going to score again. Like, we can move the football on people when we execute the right way. So I love that first play. They hated that it got called back, but I was excited just to see us make that big play that we've been looking for.
From Jalen Petrie, the kind of impact he makes.
Petrie was nasty today.
His entire team, not just the defense.
Hey, while he's in there,
Physical player, really, he played physical all night, played really well in coverage, and very active.
I'm going to pause DeMeco for a sec. SNL tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Cody Stoots. He's on the scene. He's there. And while you're at it, while DeMeco's talking, especially you complaining about DeMeco speaking, go to wherever you get your podcast, whether it's StreamYard, iTunes, type in Landry Locker, Cody Stoots, and be sure to subscribe. That would be great, especially if you want the audio format of the best Texans coverage. Back to Coach.
He's been playing really good football for us. Instinctive player. That's him down in the box, making a lot of plays, being active. Really love what he provides to our team.
You talked in the week about how important it was for Houston fans for this particular game, and you talk about how they showed up here in the city.
It was awesome seeing all our Texans fans show up. Right, that was really cool to see on the road, to see all the Texans jerseys, see how fired up our fans were, created some crowd noise. Man, that's cool. Anytime you can come in an away stadium and really feel your fans, hear your fans, all right, being loud, being disruptive, that was really cool for our guys.
You could put your finger on
What's up, Stoots?
defense, especially the defensive line. Didn't get any hits in the first half, but then obviously they finished strong. Is there one particular thing you could put on that maybe changed from the first half to the second half?
We just made some few adjustments there with the D line and
Up class.
D Hunter. He cut it loose in the second half and did a really good job. Thought our guys did a better job of just executing, right, the stunts and everything that we were asking them to do. Switched up a few things, but they executed it really well.
What was the plan with Nico, and was it more so getting him back into game shape, or was it just didn't want to rush him back all the way right away first?
we were excited to get Nico back. Really loved the plan that he had, and he showed up and made an impact play for us, the first play of the game, right? And so I'm
didn't
happy
count,
to have him
DeMeco.
back. I thought our guys
He's
did a
mentioned it.
good job of, managing him, giving him the proper snaps that he needed, and we know it's his first week back. He's not going to have a full workload on his first week back.
Nico, you stress physicality, and Jalen tonight obviously to me was a clean football hit. But for some reason,
You need to come see. I wish I could say what you're saying.
I'm just, what they call, what they at the beginning of the year, shoulder, everything. Right. The receiver made 2 steps, and all of a sudden, you got more laundry on the field, and you got it in the locker bag.
What he said.
Hey,
No, Jalen played physical, man. That's what we pride ourselves on defensively, playing physical. Jalen exhibited that. We had a lot of guys playing physical out there today.
AD's crazy, man.
What allows Stinky to have so much success while guarding?
What allows Sting to have success is just him being locked in on his technique, not making it bigger than it is, and just going out and executing. Right, he understood the challenge for their best player, and he stepped up to the challenge, and he made plays all night. So very proud of Sting for how he's continuing to grow as a professional, having a really great year for us. So I'm really proud of Sting.
Play that you made on special teams on that fake punt, how important that was.
Another physical play on special teams, right, with Mechie coming up, making a huge hit. It was a really cool moment for that play because we had a little highlight this week in our meetings where we showed the play from Mechie, Alabama, and Florida, when he made the big hit. So we talked about just playing with physicality tonight, and Mechie showed up and made almost the exact same play, but it was a huge play for him having the awareness. We know these guys are really good on special teams, and they have a lot of gimmicks and things on special teams. And Mechie, he played with elite awareness, and he was able to read the play, diagnose it, and make a big-time game-changer play for us.
Just given how you all played in the second half, especially defense, but what do you hope this kind of can do for you all as you all go into late in November and then early in December?
Playing the way we played in the second half is just for our entire team to understand that we finished the way we finished in the second half, hold the team out of the end zone, and we're able to put more points on the board. Like, we can play with anybody. So it's just a matter of continuing to press forward and continue to just execute and don't make it bigger than what it is. Everybody doing their job on their details. We're a good football team. All right, thank you guys.
All right, there you go. Let's coach. We'll hear from CJ in a sec. Nathan Palmer swarming the super chat.
Swarm.
He says that call on Petrie was dog bleep. Maxwell 77 looks like a dog. That flag was for that man's family after Petrie killed him. Yes. Oh, bull crap, not dog crap. Okay, bull crap. Getting some corrections from the wife. She's right though. It was bull bleep for sure. I thought she was saying that was mean to me to call you a dog. You had a dog profile pic, so there was that. Andy says, hopefully the garbage time score gets them over the second half. Yeah, maybe there's some value to that. On one hand, I want to sit here and say it's sad, it's embarrassing that at the end of the game you have that much tempo. But if you look at it that way, where once you bust the slump and you get the slump buster touchdown, maybe there's some value in that. So I think that's a good way to look at it, Andy, for sure. What kind of dog is that? That's some big ass ears right there. Not quite knowing what that is. Eddie says overall our defense is very solid when healthy. I disagree. I disagree completely with that. I don't agree with what you're saying there. Overall our defense is very solid. I disagree. I think they're solid whether they're healthy or not. You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? I think they're solid whether they're healthy or not. I think whether they don't have corners, whether they don't have D linemen, whether the linebackers are out, they're solid. And the defense, with the exception of the Minnesota game, and I think most of that blame can go to the offense and the offensive line. The defense, the effort they've put out when it comes to what they have to work with has been a winning effort that hasn't always been rewarded. Detroit last week, Green Bay. I think the defense is as solid as they can possibly be more times than not. Now, do they always get the job done? Do they hold up? No, but sometimes I think they're asked to do a little bit too much. But I think this defense is solid whether it's healthy or not. I think it has a chance to be elite when fully healthy. When you get Will Anderson healthy, when you get Kamari Lassiter back, when you get maybe Christian Harris into December, who knows how the hell he fits in. Linebacker depth is all of a sudden a thing. When it's healthy, it's going to be elite. It's solid no matter what. That's the beauty of it. Can't say the same about the offense. The offense is Nico dependent, and it's dependent on the offensive line not sucking too bad. Not playing well, just not sucking too bad, because they're going to suck a lot of the times when it comes to the performance of the offensive line. They're not good. You're not going to completely fix the offensive line and that be somewhat of a strength even week to week till the offseason. They got to figure something out there. Not good. DeMeco mentioned that Nico Collins touchdown. I mentioned it, I think 2 or 3 times in the press conference. Didn't count, man. Didn't count. Because Laramie Tunsil didn't have the wherewithal to not go downfield. Picked up the block. But that's just kind of the story of it. Nathan Palmer, that call on Petrie was BS. I'll reread that. Bull bleep. Frank, you're telling me something I don't even know that I'm aware of. You says it's half off Pizza Hut tomorrow, huh? Is that a rule? Fill me in on that promo. Big Pizza Hut guy here. Was eating healthy for a while, but falling off the wagon a little bit. If I get half price Pizza Hut. Meat lovers thin crust with the spicy marinara. If you get Pizza Hut, let me tell you this: you got to go to the sauce and get the spicy marinara. It's the new spicy marinara, goes in extra. Get the extra sauce too. Thin crust, stuffed crust is always good too. Hey, if it's half price, might be getting one of each. Lawson Piles says Akuda and Hallman are barbecue chicken. Lassiter has to stay healthy. Yeah, they're thin at corner. There's no doubt about that. That Akuda play with Turpin, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, you got to stay inside on that. I'm not a DB coach. You heard Troy even talking about it. You got to stay inside on that. You got to at least slow him down. I mean, he just completely mixed you there. But there's a reason that Jeff Akuda was a top 10, top 5 pick, whatever he was, and he's on his 3rd team in a few years. I mean, you get what you get there. But yeah, you do need Lassiter and Stingley, and then I don't know how Akuda. I don't know if Akuda is better than Hallman or not. No idea on that at all. Someone says you cheating on Taco Bell. I had Taco Bell today. Told you I'm falling off the wagon. I definitely had Taco Bell today. Ain't no doubt about that. Hallman isn't that bad. I just don't think you've seen him challenge too much. I don't think he's terrible, but yeah, I don't think you want him out there at corner. I don't think it's pretty much it's Stingley, it's Lassiter, and then it's shit. That's the cornerback. Which is kind of crazy when you think about the fact that Desmond King has been cut like 7 times by this squad. They did drop 3 picks tonight. It could have. The defensive performance, as good as it was, it could have even been better. Tim Settle getting another watch after those sacks. I saw on the box score they only gave him credit for 1. He needed at least a half, if not 2. I saw that, and I don't know. They're going to have to recheck that because the box score that I saw, the ESPN one has him with 1 sack. I don't know who they gave that to, if they gave it to Hunter or what. No, they didn't give it to Hunter. But they have Autry with the sack. Hunter with 2, Barnett with 1, and then they have Settle with 1. I thought he had 2 too. I thought he had at least 1.5. He's good, man. Tim Settle's good. And it's a good story because everybody like in the locker room that covers the team kind of roots for Tim Settle. First of all, he's just a good vibe and a real like fun dude to talk to. But the best thing about it is like early in the season, like no one's really looking at Tim Settle and saying, okay, this guy's going to make an impact. This guy's going to do anything. Matter of fact, he was kind of looked at as like the guy that they settled for when they didn't get Eric Armstead. They signed him the same day. And that was the running joke. And then you don't know anything about this guy. You've heard some things and then he comes in there. But all throughout the season, he's saying, man, y'all are going to talk to me next week when I have a good game. Y'all are going to want to talk to me. I'm telling you, I'm about to show y'all something. And it's just kind of like, whatever, guy. Okay. Whatever. And then he kept saying it. Then he had the 2 sacks against the Vikings. He really couldn't act excited because they got their ass kicked. And then he just kind of kept picking it up. Like he's close to his career high in sacks. And he has been a hell of a piece for this team. Hell of a vibe. Seems like he's really smart, does everything that they need to do. And yeah, I think that's another thing, Mr. Heisenberg. I mean, we know very clearly that sometimes a plan B is the better option when it comes to players. Like Joe Mixon wasn't their first choice. They wanted Saquon. Saquon's pretty good. But they ended up getting Joe Mixon after Joe Mixon hit the market after Saquon left. CJ Stroud wasn't their first choice. They like Bryce Young more. Know that for a fact. They still like Bryce Young. They still have a lot of respect for Bryce Young. So, yeah, the Armstead was plan A. They went to plan B. Just like Keenan Allen, they ended up with Diggs. But you can go down the list. Tim Settle's one of the big ones because that Armstead was expensive. And that's a rough situation in Jacksonville. So they ended up getting it right. Trent says the truth is we are and done in the playoffs. You think what is that supposed to say? One and done in the playoffs? So they're going to lose their first playoff game. I don't agree with. I mean, I don't know if that's. Who's scared? Like they could lose to any of the teams, but there's not like anything that's like terrifying, especially if the defense is healthy. I don't know that I'm ready to say all that. Mixon the biggest deal since Christopher Columbus. I don't even know what that means. Tommy Choi, swarm in the soup.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. I'm celebrating this game with the high grade and the Johnny Black. You going Johnny Black? I can't get down with the Johnny Blacks. Shout out to you though. You drinking it on the rocks or you mixing it? You don't mix the Johnny Black, do you? That's just like a couple ice cubes in the glass. You got like what do they say, like 3 fingers, whatever? Just pour it up to the top. But I can definitely relate to the
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets. Did you know what that was?
Going to work stumbling tomorrow after the game. You're just kind of still on your high. Like after you're like YOLOing. Some people are at the bars right now, like Bombshells or Twin Peaks or Pluckers, although Pluckers closes in 40 minutes. Wherever the hell you watch the game. Shout out to Big City Wings too. They got those big ass beers. Shout out to Sam. Does his thing out there. But y'all are just gonna stay up. Probably got to be at work at like 8. But you'll still kind of be tipsy and you'll just be talking about the game. Get through the workday, go home, go to sleep. And then you'll be like, damn, it's already Wednesday. That's the good thing. Like if you're a true football fan, like a lot of football fans, like on Sunday, you're basically sitting there or Saturday, you're sitting there from whatever, 11 to whatever. Like an NFL Sunday, you can't top. So you're gonna just stay up all night, and especially like when you're in your young days, and then you'll go to work on Monday, and then you'll get through it, and then it's just kind of a routine, like you when your team is playing. But when they play on Monday night, your body you kind of think it's a Sunday, and then all of a sudden this week's gonna go by fast. Isn't it crazy how the week goes by fast for everybody? It's not just like one person, like it just goes by extra fast. We'll hear from CJ in a sec. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably getting his mind right now. He'll go up there, do his thing. I think CJ's going to go up there. My prediction is I bet CJ's not pleased with his performance. That's my prediction. Gustavo says, so DeMeco can make halftime changes, but Slowick can't. He was making some good calls in the first half. CJ needs to be better. I agree with you, Gustavo. Shout out to you, my friend. I think that it is funny how DeMeco is just like so defensive. And I guess it's being a good teammate, but he's so defensive of the offensive line and the offensive functionality, even though it's not up to par with what he does, which I guess is good leadership. Because what is he going to benefit from beating down guys that aren't capable? Like the offensive line is just not capable. If he thought they were capable, he would call them out. You know, like they can say CJ needs to be better. They can say, you know, we got it. The defense has got to do this. The offensive line is just not capable of being really, really good. So they're kind of babysit. But it is funny when he goes in there and they ask what happened in the second half, and DeMeco says, and I think it was the question to from Stoots. Shout out to Stoots. SNL tomorrow, 9:00. Again, Locker and Stoots Texans talk on all podcast platforms. From Spotify to Apple, all that. Download it. Best audio form of Texans content. Not even a close second. Not even a close second. It's a 1 seed when it comes to Texans audio content. Download that. Landry Locker, Stoots, Texans talk. But it is funny when he says, yeah, I went in there, I made a few tweaks, I made a few adjustments, and, you know, our defense got better. But then when asked about second half adjustments with the offense, he's like, well, you know, it's people talk about it like it's, you know, you go in there and there's like some sort of coming to Jesus meeting. It's like, well, DeMeco, you're pretty good at it yourself, for sure. And we're cutting Dameon Pierce now. What are we cutting Dameon Pierce for? For the kickoff? He's got like 2 40-yard returns. What are you mad at Dameon Pierce for? He had 1 carry for 2 yards. He was actually open on I think the play to Stover, the 12-yarder, or no, not the 12-yarder, the few yards where CJ checked down. I think Pierce was kind of open on the sidelines. Kind of opened up a little bit. Now the play was going the other way, so it wasn't even in CJ's progression, but had CJ like off script, just looked over and found him, he might have been able to walk into the end zone. But yeah, he had the drop. He's been good at kick returns though. But yeah, I don't think Dameon Pierce should be your RB2. I agree with that. I'm not that mad at him right now though. At all. Gio wants Pierce carries. I don't know about all that. Hennessy Black says Texans fans are a very unserious bunch. Would you like to elaborate on that, my friend? It seems like a big generalization. I don't feel like any of these people have like a synchronized opinion. So saying Texans fans are a very unserious bunch, I don't know what that means. That seems like a very strong generalization. It's always weird. People take like the opinion they hate the most and then they make it like a generalization or like a representation of all. And it's like, you're a Texans fan, so you unserious? I don't get that. We're ahead of schedule, boy. We got some optimism from Thomas. We're ahead of schedule, boys. It's year 2. Our QB and coach. Growing pains are inevitable. We're going to be all right. Yeah, the growing pains are there. And the ceiling is still there. The only thing tugging you down right now is the offensive line. But you're definitely ahead of schedule. The one thing I don't like to do, but I do agree with what Thomas is saying. I don't like to, and I heard Steve Sarkisian say this the other day, and it annoyed the hell out of me after Texas won. He said something like, we're light years ahead of where we were 4 years ago when I first got here. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. NIL is a big deal. The talent's up. The schedule's been lighter, and y'all sucked. Like, yeah, y'all are better there. So, yes, congratulations. Like, that's the one thing I don't do with the Texans. Oh, well, you remember the Easterby, Coley, Lovie Smith? Yeah, I do. The draft equity lined up. They had a few good off seasons, and they hired a really, really good coach. And they got a good quarterback. But I do agree with you. They're ahead of schedule, and the growing pains are inevitable. Andy Reid went through growing pains for years with the Eagles. And by growing pains, I mean there was a clear weakness. Kyle Shanahan's going through struggles right now. Last year was just kind of a honeymoon phase. So I think that's actually a really good point, Thomas. There's going to be situations where CJ Stroud sees stuff he hasn't seen. DeMeco Ryans is in situations he hasn't seen. We brought this up the other day. Gustavo back on the super chat. All we need at the end of the season right now is back-to-back division champs, Andrew. Yeah, win the division and then hope that you can flip the switch. Just like Joe Burrow did in year 2, where there's some lulls. Win the division, get healthy, and hope that you can flip the switch. But we were talking about this the other day. To go back to what I was talking about, we'll hear from CJ in a sec. DeMeco Ryans is younger than every coach he's going to go against in the playoffs. Like if you go through all the coaches, like let's just go through the playoff standings right now in the NFL. And if we go through the NFL playoff standings right now, and you just look at the teams, Andy Reid's been around forever. Andy Reid, good God, he's been around forever. He's going to catch Bill Belichick. He's been the all-time winningest coach by the time he retires. Sean McDermott, he's been knocking on the door against Andy Reid and the Chiefs for a long ass time, like over half a decade, however long it has been. Mike Tomlin's been the coach for damn near 20 years in Pittsburgh, however the hell long that is. Jim Harbaugh has had, I think, 4 or 5 head coaching gigs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is his 5th head coaching gig. He's been to 3 NFC championship games. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to multiple college football playoffs, and he's won a national championship. John Harbaugh's been in Baltimore for a damn long time. Sean Payton's been coaching. Dude, he was on the staff in Green Bay, I think, back when Mike Holmgren was there. He was like a little snot-nosed punk intern or something like that. He's been around for a long time. He's won a Super Bowl. So I'm saying all that to say, DeMeco Ryans, there's a chance that he goes head-to-head against these guys, and their experience is a big advantage. It's not a guarantee. Like I'm not sitting here and saying that it's a guarantee, but there's a lot of youth on this squad, and there's a lot of youth there when it comes to DeMeco Ryans. MAU, appreciate you, my friend. Dion, shout out to you, my friend. That's an intense look right there, my man. Long sleeve polo too. I'm all about that all day. Shout out to that. Look before you leap. Appreciation. Kevin Smith, not the Cowboys Kevin Smith, I don't think. He's swarming the super chat.
You ain't never
Swarm. He says CJ is the 2nd most sacked QB in the NFL. People need to chill. CJ's been running for his life most of the season. Fact. It's not a good offensive line. He has to overcome it. And if you expect him to overcome it and it just to be completely normal and completely perfect with no discomfort or anything, there's going to be games where that's going to happen, but we all acknowledge that the offensive line is not good. CJ has to actually function behind it. So it's a little bit different. It's not always going to look great, but he's got to be better. He knows that. I guarantee you, we're going to see CJ Stroud in a second. He's going to say, I got to be better. I'll bet you anything. I'll bet you anything CJ Stroud says, I got to be better. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Shout out to the Men's Warehouse. MAU. CJ falling out of top 10. Kyler and Bo Nix have better stats. 12-7 INT ratio and 257 yards a pick and no TD. 5th in pass yards is carrying a season. First of all, Bo Nix cannot hold CJ Stroud's jock. Let's stop that. The interceptions last year, he could have easily thrown more interceptions than he did last year. That was a little bit of luck. Do I think CJ Stroud can play better? Yes. Again, guarantee you that he says that he can. But let's not act like Bo Nix is better than CJ Stroud. That's insane. That's insane. Kyler's good. I actually have a lot of respect for Kyler and what he does. Is CJ in the top 10? I don't know. Maybe, perhaps. I think CJ Stroud's going to be eventually in elite company. He's not there yet. He's trying to get there. And it only takes one playoff run for that to change. But miss me with Bo Nix. That's crazy. Let's hear from CJ Stroud. Appreciate y'all for coming through. It is the Locker Room Postgame Show. CJ Stroud. Let's hear what he has to say about the Texans 34-10 dub.
Joe Mixon setting from the very first snap and then closing it out. He talked about the physical play of the offensive line and kind of way that shaped this game.
Yeah, first, I just want to thank Jesus Christ himself. I'm just in awe of just who he is and, how he takes the unqualified and makes them qualified to play in A&T Stadium on Monday night. I'm just super blessed to, be able to have these opportunities. I feel like I don't deserve it, but he continues to bless me. I just want to give him thanks because, man, he saved my life. And, I just really am in loss of words of just who he is and, the love that he gives you. He's a father, he's a friend, and he's just a comforter. The Holy Spirit has been comforting me. And, I'm just blessed enough to be his son. But Joe has been amazing. He's been somebody who came in and taught guys how to win more, because we won some games last year, but he taught guys what it takes to get to that bowl, and we're not there yet, but we're taking strides, and every team goes through adversity throughout the year, so my message to the team and his as well has been, we hit our adversity, let's not look back and let's just march forward and put our best foot forward, and we know we can play with everybody, but now we got to play 4 quarters, and once we do that, we'll be able to be a hard team to stop.
You all in the second half of this week versus previous week. What do you feel like you all were able to change and get better at?
We just played 4 quarters. We didn't really change nothing. Didn't change no philosophy. Just came out here to play 4-quarter football. So we look back at some other games. If we did that, we would have came up on top. But woulda, shoulda, coulda. Now we got to learn from those things. That's a good lesson to learn. Being where we're at. Our future's in front of us, and we want to put ourselves in the right position. Playing good ball in December. Going to January and then into the playoffs.
CJ, can you talk about the first drive, that opening pass to DeMeco was called back, but then you guys still were able to get in the end zone? How important that was?
It's huge. It's a lot of times those are drive killers. And you can put your head down, but we've been through enough this year to learn like we can overcome anything if we trust one another. So we come back and we run a good run play, and the next play, I think I hit Dalton on the 3rd down, and then you hit Metch, and now we're rolling. We're getting in rhythm. We're playing fast on the ball. And our turbo, was hard for them to deal with. So when you're operating like that, it's hard to be beat. So, and the good thing is, we started strong, we finished strong, and that was the message we really wanted this week.
CJ, I would just assess the O-line, the job they did in general tonight.
Did amazing. They always do amazing. I've been better with getting the ball out on time, and I believe that helps those guys out. And Slow's done a good job of mixing it up. Got some more quick game in there. Got some times where we're helping their star rusher, or I thought Titus played amazing. Titus was in there battling. Him and Micah were going head to head pretty much the whole game, and Titus did amazing. And thought LT played well. J-Pat, Juice, Shaq. Them boys they're the heartbeat of our team. O-line and D-line are the reason why we win and lose. Excuse me.
Come on, man.
They're the reason why we win.
Take
it off the record.
No. You said it right. Nah, you said it right.
They're the reason why we win.
Nah, you said it right.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to us to play complimentary football. And, a lot of times they get the blame, but it's not for them to blame. It's myself.
You said it right.
Not getting the ball out on time, and just mis-IDing or things like that. So, when those guys are humming and, we're playing on time, doing what we're asked to do as a philosophy, then it's hard to be beat.
CJ, as the leader of this team, how were you able to get the guys together and flush out that, what happened in the Lions game? This week of practice, have a good week of practice, and come in here and be able to put on this performance that you all did tonight.
Yeah, it's something, for me, I've learned a lot through this game, and I look at life. Life isn't something where you put your head down and, and for me, I try to, pray about it and get discernment from the Lord. And, it's not as bad as it ever seems, and it's never as good as it ever seems. There's always things to fix. There are always things to get better, but, those type of games, you have to come out with a win, especially going up like that at half. You have to come out with a dub. So, but what are we going to do about it? Cry and be like, oh, we should have got this. We should have got that call. We should have made this play. We should have made that play. We shouldn't have did this. That's every game, but it's all about if you got the dub or not. So, you learn from it, you move on. And, my message is just, man, let's stay tight. We have enough people talking about us. And at the end of the day, it's the world we live in.
Man in the arena.
That's saying
the
person who talks about the other person with the plank in their eye, but they have like a wood chip, whatever. I forgot exactly how it goes, but that's the world we live in. It's easy to, to be the guy critiquing, but we're the men in the arena. Everybody's
there. It is. Hold you. I know or what?
I'm able to kind of like get away from it, but it's all about building up, not breaking down, and bending, not breaking, and building our house on solid rock, and we've been able to do that.
How good was it for Coach Ryans to be aggressive tonight, keep you all on the field on the 4th down in those red zones?
I think it's great. For me, I got to make a better play, but I think it shows you know, that he still, you know, trusts in me and the offense. And, you know, I take us over them 100 times, regardless how it goes. So, you know, I appreciate it because, you know, I do feel like I can make those plays and, you know, I just need more ops at them. And the more I get used to, you know, being in those positions, I can be better. So I appreciate it, and I just want more of those.
CJ, can you talk about this week you said you wanted to, you know, have fun again, get back to doing what you do. And Coach Ryan said, I just want you to cut loose.
Yeah.
Is that what we saw tonight?
For sure. Yeah, I've been having more fun for sure. And learning, you know, that this game ultimately isn't everything. You know, it's important, and you know, I'm extremely blessed. You know, I'm blessed and highly favored from Jesus Christ Himself to be able to play this game.
Blessed, highly favored.
I'm
Quoting Ryan
not
Garcia.
qualified, you know, but
Blessed,
Jesus
highly favored.
calls the unqualified to be qualified. So, yeah, I've been able to, you know, to learn not only from the game of football, from just X and O's, but just life. You know, you get knocked down 7 times, the righteous man gets up 8. So, you know, I've been able to kind of live that lifestyle a little bit more, you know, on and off the field, and, you know, been blessed to do that.
CJ, what was it like getting Nico back on the field tonight? How do you think he helps, you know, help the offense tonight?
Yeah, you know, play one, get the ball in his hands, and he makes special things happen. And, you know, he continues to just show up and show out. You know, his attitude while he was hurt was amazing. You know, he wasn't butthurt. He wasn't like looking down. Of course, he was upset that he was hurt and wasn't playing, but you know, he was still around the guys and, you know, still showing love. And that's something also Steph has been able to do too, like texting a lot of guys on the team. Steph is, you know, called me a lot. You know, he's been a big brother to me. I can lean on him. So I'm just, you know, really just thankful for the brothers that I have, and, you know, been able to, you know, lean on them, you know, in hard times.
Last 3 right here. Other side of the ball, what you think about the play Derek Barnett made, man? What kind of juices he got?
He scared me. I don't know why he did that with the ball. Like, he could have just ran in, but man, DB's a dog, bro. Like when we got him last year, he showed his worth, and now he's just, you know, putting more on. There's a lot of plays that guys don't see, but he's taking on, you know, those pulling guards and sending them back, making plays for his backers to be free. You know, I thought Mario played well, Daniil.
Yep.
DeMeco, like that whole D line, bro. But you know, DB got some wheels though. You know, I respect it for sure.
You mentioned Thursday that you felt like the offense had reached kind of like a mental hurdle when it came to the second half. Do you feel like y'all were able to kind of clear that today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I believe, you know, every game is an opportunity to go out and fix problems. So that was a problem that we had. You know, we got to score more touchdowns, and honestly, we could have been better today in the red zone. So there's always something to correct and fix. So I'm excited, you know, and blessed to be able to go back to work and be healthy and be able to go back and, you know, fix those problems and play the Titans this week.
After the Jets game, I remember you saying that you guys need to start playing dominating football. Today, you guys were able to win by your largest margin of victory. How good does it feel to get one of those blowout wins where you guys were able to dominate from start to finish?
Excuse me. Yeah, it's huge, you know, and for me, I don't ever look at it as like a blowout. You know, I look at it as, you know, did we execute one play at a time? And I feel like, to the best of our ability, you know, for me, I missed a couple throws, you know, threw an interception. You know, those happen, and I got to learn, and I'm learning, you know, like I told y'all during the week, I got to keep swinging. And I just appreciate, you know, them to keep being aggressive, throwing the ball down the field. And I know who I am, and I know I can be a really special person and the best special quarterback in this league, and especially with the guys I have around me. You know, Nick has done a great job putting a great team around, you know, Joe, me, Dog, the O-line, like making the individuals fit as one. And, yeah, man, so it's been huge for that. And, you know, we're just continue to grow and, you know, lean on one another.
And the offensive line, so they challenge themselves to have a big week run blocking for Joe and also protecting you.
Yeah.
Which I think is a job the offensive line did.
Amazing.
Amazing.
You know, I was back there chilling a lot of times, and you know, I told Titus had a big opportunity, you know, to play well against Micah, and you know, he was able to do a really good job. You know, I thought we mixed up the protections a lot, pretty well, and you know, there's always things to clean up, but it definitely took a step forward, and that's what we wanted. So, yeah, so it was definitely a step forward. All right, y'all. God bless.
There you go. CJ Stroud. God, man. Don't have to you don't have to just lose for him to say he's got to be better. And I think that's the beauty. The leadership of CJ Stroud is he practices it. And we mention this every effing time. We talk about the squad. It is a locker room post-game show. SNL, 9:00 once again. Be sure to type in Stoots Locker, Texans Talk, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, etc. Download that as well. Much appreciated if you're able to do that. But CJ Stroud, he knows he's got to play better. You're not telling him anything that he doesn't know. I know there's some frustration with the offensive line because they're kind of great on a curve. They know that. That's just where we're at right now with the offensive line. It's not ideal, but that's where they are. But the greats like CJ Stroud's, the DeMeco Ryans defense, they can win a game, and then we can say they need to be better. You have to win a game in spite of your offensive line. And that's why they're kind of great on a curve. So that's just kind of the difference in where things are. I'll tell you what, though, I definitely have the blessed, highly favored Ryan Garcia song in my head now. Ever since he said blessed, highly favored, play that after this. It's been in my head for probably a month. It's so dumb. It's good though. Blessed, highly favored Ryan Garcia. Okay. Let's go to the Swarm and the Supers again.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Doyle says he loves Jesus in America. Shout out to you, my friend. I do too. If you don't, that's cool. Shouldn't be a polarizing topic. I love Jesus in America too. Appreciate you. Dion says people need to chill. The Lions game show we can play with the league teams. We'll get it all together by the playoffs. CJ a fraud is ridiculous. Yeah, he's not a fraud at all. Yeah, Lions game, they should have won that game. You walked away thinking they should have won that game. There's not like a superpower in the AFC. That if you told me that, and I think even Kansas City is flawed. And look, they know how to win. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. They know how to win. They got one of the GOATs at quarterback. Might go down as the best of all time. They got a good defense. They got a coach that's going to be mentioned among the best of all time. But it's not just like some unbeatable squad. I think Buffalo's playing good as well. I don't think the Texans are better than the Bills, even though they did beat them. I thought the Bills were kind of beat up. It was before they traded for Cooper. But it's not an unbeatable squad. So yeah, I mean, it's not like you're chasing. If you told me that the Lions were the hurdle, I would kind of wonder about that. But yeah, there's not like any unbeatable squad. Baltimore still scares the crap out of me. But yeah, I think it's the same old. Yeah, they can easily get hot. Will said the media is about to run with the clip, the CJ on the O-line. Nah, the media, I mean, it's already like plain as day that when they lose more times than not, it's because of the offensive line. I mean, the reason that it's funny is because CJ said what the actual truth is instead of the natural instincts to kind of baby the offensive line. But yeah, that's just kind of where that is on that. So we'll see. Texans are better than the Bills, Landry. Okay. I mean, that's cool. Hey, they did beat them. I would not be too sure about that, especially if they have their full D line and Cooper and stuff. But hey, who knows? A lot of stuff happens in the regular season. I mean, they got a chance. I damn sure wouldn't want to go to Buffalo though, which could be where they would be. So yeah, hey, we'll see. Cody Stoots, he's live in Dallas. He's joining us now. A little early SNL preview. I'm going to do my grades after this for HOU football. Let's look at Stoots. Stoots, where the hell are you?
Hold on, I can't hear yet. Hold on.
Oh my gosh, look at this effing guy. Is he about to have a piece of metal fall on his head or something like that? Where the hell is he? He says he can't hear. That's a him thing. That's a technical thing. He might not be able to join. Who knows? But appreciate everyone for coming through. If we get to Stoots, we get to Stoots. I don't know what's up with his can't hear thing. He'll figure it out, I think. This effing guy. Let's just like kind of look at him like trying. Yeah. I didn't even know that we like looking up his nose. Boogers in his nose and stuff. Yeah, he can't hear. Now he's going to text me and say, hey, I can't hear. Probably. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Kind of hearing some shuffle. We're hearing that. Yeah, who knows? He always gives me a hard time about technology. I'm spying on Stoots because he's supposed to be jumping on.
I can't hear you. Hold on.
He can't hear me.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, I got you. I think I broke my headphones.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Good job, man. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
How was the atmosphere? How was the game?
I mean, I tell you what, there was a lot of Texans fans here. I mean,
was it 50-50?
Yeah, easy 50-50. Easy 50-50. And as far as how loud it was, much louder. Much louder by the Texans fans than the Cowboys fans. Obviously, they had more to cheer for, but much louder.
Where are you right now? What's going on here?
I'm right outside the press box. I mean, I'm like got a little hold on now.
Did you get a beer?
Yeah, I got it waiting for me for after work.
Yeah, they got a few. They got the Miller Lite keg. I used to tear that thing up when I would cover games there. Good God. Go about 7-8 deep. It's in the press box. He just blacked out now. We lost Stoots. He's a lost cause right now.
I'm not a lost cause. I just don't know how to get this computer stuff working on the fly like this.
By the way, the previous angle that you had, that I think you could catfish some chicks with that. Whatever that angle was before, we need to go back and whatever your Bumble profile pics are, we need to use that.
Shut up.
What did you make of the game, dude? Like, what's your overall assessment of it? Because for me, it's it's not as bad as like the worst case fear. There's still some stuff to work on. I think the offensive line it's very clear that they're graded on a different scale than CJ Stroud or anyone else, any of DeMeco's defense. Like, as long as they're able to overcome the offensive line, then they can do no wrong as far as like the actual dialogue. But other than that, I don't have too much to complain about with it. I mean, there's some stuff to look at.
I mean, there were still some really bad moments from the offensive line. There were still some moments where CJ Stroud had to make them right when they were wrong. They had some real bad run blocking moments as well. Left guard is a huge issue for this team, and it seems like it's not going to get any better over the course of the season. They've tried
about Juice Tuafilo. Yeah.
Xavier Scruggs, which I think actually is a baseball player, maybe. But so this offensive line, one sack, but it felt like a bad performance still. And I know that there's some optimism, and as you talked about it, the grade on the curve element to it. But there was a lot of optimism in that locker room that they are just kind of getting the ball rolling on offense. And Joe Mixon's comment was, we start hitting some of these throws, Nico gets back into rhythm, and we're really going to start rolling on offense. And I thought that was, he's right. If CJ Stroud hits 3 or 4 more throws than he did tonight, then they put up another probably 17 points,
Yeah.
At least another 12 or,
Or
8,
they win me my
they don't settle
parlay.
for some field goals.
They win me my parlay.
Would it hit your parlay? Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I actually thought of all the things that I think you can be encouraged by, I think Bobby Slowick called a better game than the actual results. He called a touchdown play to Nico on 4th down. He got a touchdown play to Mixon on 3rd down. The 3rd and 1 throw was kind of weird. I don't know what exactly they were doing there. I guess they were just kind of mixing it up. I actually think they were just working on things at the end of that game. And I think they tried to end the drought as well. I think there was that. They were just kind of effing around. But I thought Bobby was good today. Does that mean that all is good? No, but I thought he was good today too.
Yeah, Bobby had a much better day. I mean, there's some questionable moments, but you can nitpick and pick apart pieces of any offensive coordinator's performance, but he was better than he has been. And I thought there were a few moments in this game where it's, hey, don't overthink it. Do what everybody else would do. And he did that a couple of times. Early on, there was, some short yardage stuff, and he was still handing it to Joe Mixon. And late in the game, it was, hey, just pound the rock with Joe Mixon and grind this thing out. If you get the touchdown, fine. If not, whatever. The Cowboys aren't coming back. But there were some no-duh moments where Bobby did the no-duh thing, which isn't always the case with Bobby Slowick. Now, the 3rd and 1 throw, didn't love that. But if CJ hits the throw, it's a better result. But again, still don't love the process. We talk about the process a lot, not necessarily the result. Still don't love the process behind that. Because 3rd and 1 with Joe Mixon, you should be able to get that.
Connor, I put you in timeout, nose in the corner. It says I ban. You just have to sit out for 5 minutes. You're like a bad meat. You're like spam. Like you're spamming the chat there with your anger. I don't know what you're mad at, my friend. So nose in the corner, brother. Did you what did you make of the return of Nico Collins? Was he on a pitch count? How many snaps did he end up playing?
I think he ended up.
How many was that?
I was sitting there looking at it with Jonathan Alexander from the Houston Chronicle before DeMeco spoke. He ran 20 routes. John Mechie ran 28 routes. So clearly he's on a snap count. And then DeMeco even said at the podium after, he said, look, he's not going to have a full workload his first game back. So that was clearly something that they had planned. And I wonder if initially, he catches that first touchdown stands. Maybe he has even less because maybe they're rolling from the jump. But unfortunately, Laramie Tunsil fired out of there, and that was about 17 yards upfield by the time Nico caught the ball.
Yeah, I thought that was funny because DeMeco mentioned the play 3 times, and it was like it didn't count, sir. Like not in like a weird way, but I mean I get what he's saying. Like Nico was doing what Nico does, but it was like it didn't count, sir. The offensive line kind of wiped that away, my friend.
Yeah, it's like it's an impressive play by Nico Collins that doesn't count. That, like, if you remember it, he obviously continues to showcase how dynamic he could be with the ball in his hands. But it doesn't end up on the stat sheet. So, like, I mean, we already knew Nico was really good with the ball in his hands. You saw it a couple times, the win quick and get open thing that we've talked about for a couple of weeks. Just a couple of steps into the ground, boom, turn inside. CJ Stroud hits him in stride, and they get the first down on I think it was a 3rd and short initially was that first official catch. So, yeah, you saw some good stuff from Nico Collins, and there's going to be more. I mean, they're going to build on it more, and they're going to have more opportunity to kind of get into a groove.
You know what I like my biggest, like, as I'm watching this team and like you're trying to take everything in. My biggest take, and this just came to my head like right now. I think I don't want to say the golden age because you don't know how long CJ Stroud is going to play, but I would say like in the next 4-year period, maybe like 4-year period where you hope to be kind of contending. I think this is going to be the best secondary in the league. And I think that this is going to be one of the best defenses in the league. And I think this is going to be a perennial top 5 defense to where the offense can almost function at a different way, especially if they're able to find a way to where they can run the ball consistently with the O-line. Because I think when you look at Stingley, when you look at Lassiter, when you look at what Kalen Bullock is, that dude is a ball hawk. There is a reason. And the moment that I wondered about Kalen Bullock, I didn't know that he was like immediately ready to play. I'm not going to pretend that I forecasted this and I thought that he was going to be ready to go. But if you go back and watch, and I tried to dig it up on YouTube, it's not even up there. But if you go back and look at the reaction that DeMeco Ryans, Nick Caserio, Scout Goodhair, like all the people that were in the war room had when they drafted Kalen Bullock, it's never been more exciting. Like, I think they might have been more pumped for that pick than they were like the CJ and Will, just because it was blatantly obvious. Like that right there, like we've talked about the safety position. The dude is a ball hawk. He was tied for the lead league in interceptions. Even that throwaway at the end of the first half where Cooper Rush is just tossing it in the air and Kalen Bullock's just kind of effing around on the sidelines and he just nonchalantly grabs it and then kind of spins it. Like, it's like, man, he even makes that look badass. So I think this is going to be the best secondary in the NFL. And 2 or 3 years, and I think this is going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL, perennial, like more times than not, with DeMeco Ryans.
I mean, they could finish this season as one of the best defenses in the NFL when they get healthy. Like they're. I mean, Derek Stingley's not. I mean, Derek Stingley's fantastic. You know, when he was on CeeDee Lamb tonight, Lamb got basically nothing. Will Anderson's going to come back, and then
take your time, Will. Take your time. Might even see you after the bye. Might even see you after the bye. Ice up. What Steve Smith say? Ice up, son. Ice up.
With DeMeco Autry and Derek Barnett playing as well, and then, you know, if you get that defensive tackles position whole, and they give you a little bit of heat up the middle, you could survive these next few weeks without Will Anderson, and you can allow him to take his time. The linebackers are still very good, and when Lassiter gets back, you're not going to have the Okudah play. You're not going to have some of these Kadar Holman moments where you're like you're holding your breath because they threw the ball at Kadar Holman.
Turpin, man.
How do they not use him more on offense in Dallas?
Did he play after that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how that wasn't something that you went back to. Nobody can hold him in the slot. Yeah. Richard on the suit. My Houston Texans defense is legit. Yes, it is, my friend.
I mean, tonight was that's a scary level of performance by them in the second half. I get that it's a really crappy Dallas Cowboys team, but anytime you keep somebody off the scoreboard after a not super impressive first half.
No, and they've created the way they've created the role for Petry's insane too. He's a badass now. Like in this role.
Oh yeah.
Like, no, there's going to be times like, let's just be serious. Like we can acknowledge this and we can accept this. Like there's going to be times where someone finds Jalen Petry lined up man-to-man on somebody and he gets cooked. There's going to be times where he misses tackles and all that. But in that role that they have him in right now, he's a badass too. I don't even necessarily like, you can consider him a safety. That's what but he's basically a linebacker safety. He's basically a hybrid right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Petry's a really, I mean, he's had a direct hand in 3 turnovers this year. You got the Neville Hewitt tip. You got the play tonight where he blasted that offensive lineman and made that guy give up the ball. And then he tipped the pass that Jimmy Ward caught.
He also had the pick. He also had the pick against Richardson.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, he's caused 3, has one of his own. Like he's playing excellent. And that's a huge credit to DeMeco Ryans because you had to figure out how to use this guy after a totally unproductive year last year. They create this position for him and boom. I mean, he's off to the races and it is an excellent asset for them on defense.
And I almost don't even know how Christian Harris fits in with it. Like they're not going to a traditional defense. Like it's going to be Jalen Petry. It's a rotational thing. And those linebackers are starting to get pretty good too.
Well, they trust Devin White. I mean, Neville Hewitt, they trust him.
Devin White's going to get better too. That dude can run his ass off. That dude for how I remember, you remember when I put the picture of him up warming up and like everyone was like, God, he looks fat. He looks out of shape. And then he goes out like that week and he plays
like 50% of the snaps.
Large percent of the snaps. Then he plays again. Dude. And then we saw him in the locker room and I was like, dude, he must just wear a lot of pads or something like that. Cause he doesn't like he's a big dude, but he's not like I think he still has, I gotta ask him. I think he still has his LSU pads. I didn't want to like buy, you kind of meeting
first couple days there. You're like,
I didn't want to show that I was looking in his locker, but I mean, it was like right in front of me. But he's got the purple and yellow pads. I'm like, are these your LSU pads or what? I'm gonna have to ask that. Yeah. I didn't want to take it too far. Kevin Smith. I'm just kidding. It wouldn't have been that big a deal, but just kind of fill it out. Kevin Smith. Did Tunsil get benched in the first series for a few plays at the bonehead penalty? I thought I saw Thomas at tackle at the penalty. No, I don't think so. No.
I mean,
I didn't notice.
I'd check see if you got a slot open at the eye doctor this week.
Yeah.
Thomas did get in the game though. They made him a tackle eligible.
Yeah, they zoomed in on him. I thought they were about to toss it up to him, dude.
That's one hell of a way to get your first snap is to have CJ toss you a touchdown, big man touchdown.
Hey, why didn't Tim Settle get 1.5 sacks at least? The box score said 1. That's got to get fixed, right?
Well, who did he split with?
They didn't split it. He only had 1 sack in the box score. But he had 1.5 at least. if not
he had the one where he just blew through the middle and got the guy.
Yeah, and then did his like high five thing and all that.
Yeah. I was talking to Nico Collins, so I didn't get to talk to Tim Time, but I'm sure Tim Time was very excited.
I was telling everyone how funny it was, how he kept saying that people were going to interview him, and me and you were like, "Yeah, whatever, buddy." And then now he's like the man, like the complete.
What's his season total? 6 sacks now?
Yeah, he's close to his career high. He's damn near close.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess I did not know this is a thing. Life in Motion says most LSU players keep their pads through the NFL. Didn't know that. Feel like you might be making that up. You could be right. You could be right though. Maybe you're right. LSU players keep their pads because they're sized. Okay. That would be okay. Traden says white in coverage is his weakness. He's talking about white guys in coverage, or is he talking about like
talking about Devin White?
Oh, I thought because I mean either one would work. If we're being honest, like let's just be serious about it. Jacob Hyatt says Jerry World sounded like NRG. Texans fans showed up. I think Jacob was out there. Shout out to Jacob.
Man, it was loud. It was loud when Texans had good plays. It was loud.
What are you doing tonight? You going to you gonna hit the town or anything?
I'm gonna finish when we're done here and do a little video, do some writing, and drink a couple beers on Uncle Jerry's tab and see what happens after that.
You're gonna the press box and get the
yeah. I'm in the.
You should go check out that bar right by Blowout.
This is where I am.
Yeah, there's the keg. Okay, I see you.
And there's the little Miller Lite Plaza thing out there.
Yeah, go get you a keg. Is that bar open till 2 by the ballpark? Got to be, right?
Got to be, right?
I don't think so. Go check that out.
Yeah, I mean,
go get you
don't
some.
threaten me with a good time.
Go get you some Scrange.
Maybe I'll go over there and write. Chicks love writers, right?
I don't think so. I don't think chicks love writers, dude.
No,
I don't think that works.
Maybe I'll go do the show from there. Chicks love YouTube streamers, right?
That is a fact I've heard. I've heard chicks dig the streamers.
I mean, who knows? I do well enough over there. One day they'll have a little boxing match out here with me.
Did you hear what I said about Zeke Elliott today?
I saw that. That was very rude, but very true.
McLean texted me and said, "Man, that was a hell." Let me see what he said. He said, "Like he's always in character."
Is McLean okay? Because he thought the Texans lost at like 5 different points.
Oh yeah. I don't. He's McLean. I love him so much. He said, "Great line on Zeke. You're sharper than the offense."
Of course.
I said that I said that with Zeke Elliott checking into the game, Mike Tyson is now the second most washed up athlete to perform at Jerry World the last few days.
Yeah, that was a great line by you.
Yeah, well, not to.
I'm glad I wrote that for you and texted it to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I don't need a ghostwriter when it comes to my silliness. Swing or miss. Sometimes I miss though. All right, man. I'll talk to you SNL Manana at 9 a.m. Podcast platforms. If you like to listen to it in the car, Stoots and Locker Texans Talk. It is in StreamYard. It is in iTunes. It's everywhere. Stoots and Locker Texans Talk. Be sure to download that. It is the best audio format. It's daily, and it's 2 guys on the scene, and we got you. We are right here. Digital Kings. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Thank you very much. Stoots, go out there. Get a couple of those beers. Double fist. Make a scene.
Yeah.
Clarence Hill there. You drinking already?
They got the blood and honey. I'm going to have about 4 of those.
Yeah, they got blood and honey. They got the is Clarence Hill there? Is he drinking?
I think Clarence already hit the road.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Cowboys media might have left before the fans did.
They just wait for Jerry. Yeah, be on the lookout for Stoots' video. He'll do a video today as well. He'll have that up sooner rather than later. So just follow us for all the content. Appreciate you, man.
All right, see you, bud.
All right, there you go. All right, appreciate everyone for joining me. It's been a nice little post-game show. Nice little dub, man. Dubs that you still feel like there's a little meat left on the bone. There's no shame in that. Well, don't be ashamed. If you're happy with the dub, celebrate the dub. If you feel like there's more left for this Texans team to do and they can look better, do that too. It's the beauty of it. It's not synchronized. It's not generalized. Fan how you want to fan. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to write along. Man, if y'all really want to be mad at me, go just type in on YouTube, type in Ryan Garcia, blessed, highly favored. I actually think he might put you in a good mood. It's so bad, it's good. It'll be in your head the rest of the day. Blessed, highly favored, Ryan Garcia, crazy boxer. He could probably use the clicks. He's still suspended from boxing. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to the Texans stuff, we're all in it together. Much love to you. Much appreciation to you. Texans get the dub 34-10. SNL, 9 a.m. Got you covered in the digital game. Thanks for pulling up to the locker room. An I-45 ass whooping. Later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Ayy. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give. We got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the